This week we return to normality. Or do we? As we tackle one of the most fascinating conundrums in all of human history. Not where did we come from? Not is there a God? No, today we take a little sip from the Fermi Paradox. And in doing so, we welcome back to the channel Liverpool's Azvex Brewing. Although relative newcomers to the scene, well, of sorts, Azvex sure have been tearing it up, dropping beer after beer on a weekly basis, and all of them to an extremely high standard. Those pales especially. But I think it's safe to say none have dared to ask such a deep, philosophical and scientific query. For those of you unaware of Enrico Fermi's great question, which I find in this day and age almost impossible to believe, the physicist asked on a walk with friends, "Where is everybody?" And in the half century or more since he did ask that question, we are no closer to figuring it out. And if you need to familiarize yourself a little more with the paradox, I will leave in the description a great video that'll really get your mind to work. But as for me, what I love most about it is it blurs the line between fiction and reality. Crazy theories are no crazier than the logical ones. Are we living in a cosmic zoo, being watched from afar? Or is it something as mundane as being just too far away? From simulation theories like you might have seen in The Matrix? Or could it be more like something out of Mass Effect and a danger lurking in the dark that we're best hiding away from? Or is it something even more worrying? Are we truly alone? I guess we may never truly know, but one thing's for certain, it definitely makes for interesting discussion over an evening with a few brews. And as of course the beers definitely come first on this channel and the wild babble later, we'll steer this ship back to Earth and to a science of a very different nature as we investigate what kind of magic Azvex have got waiting for us. With this big 9.2% double IPA, brewed with the Strata, Citra and Moteca. So definitely expecting a real tropical yet citrusy vibe here. Maybe that Moteca can give us a little of that mojito hit. Maybe we can expect a little dankness in there too. Maybe some piney and resinous notes. Or maybe even something a little more herbal. And I don't know if it's just me and the beers I've been picking up of late, but it does seem like the Strata and Moteca really have been featuring heavily these past couple of weeks. Not that I'm complaining at all. So with plenty of questions left to ask, let's take a dive into the unknown and let's get pouring. Oh, that is real tropical. There's loads of pineapple in that. And it has a beautiful creamy apricot to it too. There are some subtle sweet berry notes in there, and it does have a little dankness, a little heaviness, and maybe a little touch of that 9.2%. It does. It smells real New Englandy, and I think I'm gonna love it. So it is. It's a little syrupy right up top. There's a little bit of mustiness to it too. Real heavy with the pineapple, with the mango, some sweet berry notes, and a little bit of passion fruit. Boy, did we think it was hot recording last week. Well, it's nothing on this, am I right? We've even had to delay recording till gone midnight just to get the phone working properly. But it is blending nicely into some sweet citrus notes. It's a little lemony, it's a little melony, and it fades out with an almost honeydew sweetness. There is a little citrus prick right at the end, but overall really is sweet, almost almost treacle-like. And those middles, they've got a little herbally now. There's a little lick of spice and booze hidden in there too. And it's developed an almost dry sherry note in that finish. And now we're down into the final third. It must be said, it was a real treat on the nose. Well, if super sweet beers tickle your fancy, very tropical, very New Englandy, quite soft and a little creamy, but very, very nice. And it must be said, it doesn't disappoint in the mouth either. Although maybe, for a night like tonight, just a little too syrupy and a little too heavy. But I suppose at 9.2% it was always going to be a little on that heavy side. It does, however, develop some subtle citrusy notes midway through, but all the while it does still remain quite honey-like. And as those citrus notes subside, slightly herbally notes start to take its place, and that booze does become ever more noticeable. There is absolutely no mistaking this for a single, and it fades out with an almost dry wine, dry sherry note in the tail, which too lingers with a nettly herbal note and a slight lick of booze in the mouth. And I've got to admit, compared to their previous offerings, this one here is just a little on the average side. Perhaps we should have stuck with the alien talk after all. That said, this late hour and this oppressive evening probably isn't peak time for such a brew, as it is far too heavy and far too honey, marmalade-y sweet for a night like tonight.